Trump or consequences? Ready, Jill?
Yep.
Thinking about Anna Paulina Luna and Kevin Hazlett in the race for Congress, who did President Donald Trump praise as a veteran who served our country in the military and, quote, puts America first?
Anna Paulina Luna. Gotta be. Luna knows freedom ain't free.
Right, Jill. Next, who did Trump endorse for Congress?
Anna Paulina Luna. I know Trump backs Luna and only Luna.
Correct. Luna has Trump's complete and total endorsement. Last question. Who joined with Hillary and the Democrats in 2016 to attack Trump over his taxes?
Who did that?
Kevin Hazlett.
So why would a Republican back Hazlett?
Good question. Because if you stand with Trump, Anna Paulina Luna is the right answer for Congress. Paid for by Club for Growth Action, clubforgrowthaction.org, and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Club for Growth Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
What's the buzz in Tampa Bay? Senior Voice America Radio, a unique morning variety program delivering the latest commentary on politics by host and political analyst Tim Bryce and the up-to-minute happenings of Wall Street. Beyond politics and finance, they scale the scholar's rampart by including topics on religion and nutrition with thought-provoking guests and interviews. Tune in every weekday from 8 to 10 a.m. on this Tan Talk station. Senior Voice America, serving our nation's seasoned citizens for over 4 decades.
Show me the money.
It's the Employment Opportunity Hour with Gene Hodge every Thursday night from 7 until 8.
So the purpose of the show is to help you out there to find something that you enjoy doing instead of a job. And at the start of the show, I normally give out a formula, which I know will guarantee you to find the type of job that you want right now.
Find out the formula to an enjoyable job with Gene Hodges' Employment Opportunity Hour every Thursday night from 7 until 8 here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Show me the money.
Join the Tampa St. Pete Sports Connection live from Ferg Sports Bar and Grill every Saturday from noon to 2 as we cover Tampa Bay sports, from the Pee-wees to the preps to the pros, providing a positive perspective in our weekly interviews with NFL alumni and Florida Sports Hall of Fame inductees, as well as collegiate, high school, youth coaches, and players, conversations from the clubhouse, as well as entertaining guests weekly. So be sure to have a championship day with the Tampa St. Pete Sports Connection, Saturdays from 12 to 2 on the Tan Talk family of stations.
Thinking about starting your own business? Then you need to listen to the Entrepreneur Opportunity Hour every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. There's nothing more rewarding than starting your own business. Gene and Mr. Dukes will bring you tips and advice from themselves and other entrepreneurs that will help you get started. Have you already started your own business? Then call in and share your story to help other entrepreneurs. That's the Entrepreneur Opportunity Hour every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Tampa Bay's Tan Talk. Entertaining and informative radio for the Sunshine State.
Jay. Ray. Let the
I wasn't raised to raise my voice. I wasn't raised to raise my voice. I wasn't raised to raise my voice until I didn't have a choice. Speak out now, don't hold your tongue. Speak out now for our freedom.
I wasn't raised to be ignored. Mama, she told me to make some noise. I wasn't raised to play the boy. Out of the bowl, I am the voice. Whenever the people is spinning the board, too many liberties we enjoy. Can't let the freedom be destroyed. Let the church say.
I wasn't raised to raise my voice. I wasn't raised to raise my voice. I wasn't raised to raise my voice until I didn't have a choice. Speak out now, don't hold your tongue. Speak out now for our freedom. I wasn't raised to raise my voice.
All right. Hello, everyone. Jara here, normally here with my beautiful co-host, Miriam, and our show, Voices for Change. I'm flying solo tonight because, as many of you may know who have tuned in before, Miriam is also an incredible freedom fighter and fighting for human rights in various different areas of the world. So she's out fighting for some freedom right now, and she will join us again next week. Go, Miriam! So this is an opportunity for me to actually speak to you guys for the first time all on my own. And I wanted to definitely go over a couple things. First of all, for any of you tuning in for the first time, we are Voices for Change, and we are a human rights radio show. And why we chose to do that is because basically there are so many subject matters these days which can cause great division. Obviously, politics, racial opinions about how children should be educated, religious opinions. But something that is a common denominator of all human beings is our basic human rights. And believe it or not, I didn't even really know a lot about them until not too long ago. And a lot of freedom fighters that I speak to still don't actually know what they are, which is totally fine. But I'm going to give you a little bit of information about that. Back in December 1948, actually, so these have been around for a while, the United Nations actually declared the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And there are 30 of them. And basically, the incredible thing going on right now is, you know, there are different opinions about our country in the United States right now, and even our Constitution. Sometimes you say the word Constitution and people get a little bit hot about that. But the truth is that some of the most basic and beautiful laws that have been written have come, you know, into existence. And these human rights actually are a common denominator of many of them. For example, with some of the stuff going on in the world right now, you know, I myself am an artist, I am a singer, and I'm an actress. And, you know, I actually left mainstream entertainment industry because I could not say what I wanted to say. And we see that happening more and more. And even the independent artists that are getting, you know, their content, their videos, their music canceled from the internet. Believe it or not, that actually is Article 9 of your basic human rights is not Article 9, pardon me, Article 19. Everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers, through any media. So believe it or not, that is one of your basic human rights. And we've had in the last several weeks, because we are a newer show, we've had about, I believe, 7 shows now. I think this is lucky number 8. And we've had just an incredible array of different guests that are fighting for freedom in all different areas of life. So, you know, our first guest was Topher, who is an incredible musician. Our next guest was Dr. Peter McCullough and his co-author, John Leake, with their fight for medical freedom. We had an amazing gentleman from, California, Sean Fredrickson, as our next guest, and then a lady from that actually runs CCHR, which is Citizens Commission on Human Rights here on Florida, and everyone fighting for different freedoms. And basically what that is also is fighting for freedom in the medical health department of, medical health reform and violations going on in the mental health community as well. So we've had all these incredible guests, and what we're trying to do with this show is really show you guys that no matter what you do in life, there is a moment where there is a decision to be made sometimes where you have to stand up for what you believe in. And that moment can be terrifying. I know that it was for me. Like I said, I'm a full-time artist. I left the mainstream entertainment industry, and I knew that coming out and speaking my mind about certain topics that are going on in the world right now would not enable me to go back to the mainstream entertainment industry. And that was not an easy choice. It actually took me 2 solid years to make that choice. So what we're trying to do for our audience and all of you guys watching live right now, because we are on the radio right now on the Tantalk network and with the Chapters Wrap, and we are airing all throughout Florida and New York, but we also live stream. So if you guys are watching live, we're on YouTube right now on the Chapters Wrap on YouTube. And the purpose of our show is really to basically inspire you guys, to enlighten you guys, to educate you guys, and to really move you into action. Because if we can inspire you by telling stories over and over and over again of all these different people fighting for their freedoms in different areas of life, and what it took at that pinnacle moment where they made the decision to make the change and say, I have to speak up, I have to do something. If we can move anybody that's sitting on that precipice right now to make that decision, then obviously it will create a ripple effect. And like I've said many times, because now I'm right out there singing freedom fighting music, in the last 6 months alone, when I decided to do this. In fact, I will let you guys know right now that the guest I will have on in about 10 minutes or so is, it means so much to me. It's the Marine rapper. And any of you guys that haven't heard my story before, when I came out and wanted to sing music about freedom, about our human rights, it was only in January. And I did that with the Marine Rapper. And it was such an incredible launching point into this whole new life and this whole new world. And it was not an easy decision for me to make at first, because I was afraid that I would lose everything and that maybe it wouldn't go well. And what was I going to do then? Because I couldn't turn back. But it actually was the best decision I ever made. I am happier than I have ever been. I am fully at peace with my decision, with where I'm going. I am purpose driven, and I no longer have to be afraid of what I want to say or that it will have any repercussions about losing a contract or anything like that, because, well, all of those are already gone anyway. But I wanted to bring that up also because, for example, the song that just played in the intro called Raise My Voice, that was the Marine Rapper on that song as well, off of his album Culture War 2 called Cold War, an incredible album that went to number 2 on the iTunes charts. And we actually talked a lot about the fact that I was standing in a moment where I knew I wanted to say something, but I really didn't know what to say. There were other artists and other people in this kind of freedom fighting revolution that were so far ahead of me. And I remember having many conversations with the Marine Rapper and just telling him literally, I don't know what to say. So he said, then write a song about that, which was so encouraging and such a perfect way of handling that moment for me, and led to such a pivot in my life, because the lyrics of that song are, I wasn't raised to raise my voice until I didn't have a choice. Speak out now. Don't hold your tongue. Speak out now for our freedom. And I meant that. Like, I grew up being a very polite person. I never enjoyed conflict. I didn't want to create any controversy. And the only reason I'm telling you guys that story is there's a lot of people out there like that some people are more bold than others. And it's okay for them to go up on social media or, really be outspoken about their opinions about things. I was not really that way. So the truth is, I had to find my way of doing it. And I admire the Marine Rappers so very much for giving me the room and the opportunity to do that, because it was absolutely a pivot in my life. And I'm saying that to others because if you don't know what to do, but you want to do something, maybe you can start with something simple, and it doesn't have to be blazing up on social media, but maybe you can find your way of moving yourself into a position where you feel more causative about what's going on in the world instead of constantly feeling that you are at effect. Which brings me to a couple things, just for a couple minutes. I actually have some questions that people have asked, and I've not had time to answer them yet. So since I'm hanging out in the studio by myself today, I think I'll take the moment to answer some of your questions, which are really great questions. What made you decide to give up your career in the standard entertainment industry and be a freedom fighting artist? And was that a difficult choice? Well, I think I kind of just answered that one. Yes, it was a difficult choice. It took a lot of soul searching. I cried a lot. I was terrified. And it was the best decision I ever made. And these days are different than in the past. Now there is a movement, there's momentum going on. There are support systems. There are many more like-minded people actually raising their own voices. So you're not alone. And there are people that I believe will come to your aid and will help you if you need help. So that's a great question. Oh, what is your best advice for people that feel hopeless or overwhelmed about the current scene? That's a good question. I think also I just covered that a little bit. I say you need to move yourself into action. You need to find something that you can do, because when you're just sitting kind of getting this influx of information and communication, and especially if you're still watching the news, please turn that off because it's just so negative. But the truth is that find anything that you can do. For example, I started going to all of these events for various different humanitarian projects, human rights projects, and a lot of them, for example, were charity events and they wanted donations. I was not in the position to donate monetarily, so I found ways to donate with my voice as a singer. That made me feel like I could participate and do something about it. You know, if you have a charity or something like that that you can donate money to, great. If it's just going and volunteering, there are so many things that you can be volunteering in now in your communities, getting education about what's going on with the school board, what's going on with kind of the more basic levels of government in your own cities and stuff like that. But I would say if you're feeling overwhelmed or hopeless, move yourself into doing something about it. The second you start helping other people, you will feel better. It's inevitable. It's what I always do for sure. If I'm not feeling good, I go, okay, who can I help? And then I immediately start to feel better about the situation. I'm just have a couple more, and then I definitely want to bring my amazing guest out. But this is a great opportunity to answer some of these questions. What is your personal outlook on the world these days? That's a big question. I think I can summarize that with the fact that I was having a wonderful conversation last night with a huge freedom fighter. What an amazing woman. I won't say her name on the radio right now because I don't have permission to yet, but I was so honored to speak with her. She's involved in a lot of huge organizations, and talk about someone that is really going the extra mile to help this world right now. But we were talking, and at the end of our conversation, this kind of came up. And there's a lot of darkness and a lot of turmoil going on in the world right now. My personal outlook is actually, believe it or not, that sometimes things look worse before they get better. And I genuinely believe that no matter how turbulent things look and no matter how bad they look, they're actually getting better. I believe that a lot of bad things have been going on in the world for a long time. And the problem is that people were not aware of them. Now our awareness is coming up of them. The information is coming out, and it's like, oh my goodness, what just happened? But it didn't just happen. It's been happening. So I think that, that it's not an easy time, but I think that it is paving the way for a better time. I always say that, have you ever seen one of those, or have you ever had a garage or a closet? Let's go with the garage, where you just keep sticking all your stuff in there. You just, I can't deal with this. I'm going to put it on a shelf. Oh, I don't know what to do with this. I'm going to put it in a bin. Oh, I'm just going to, don't look at that. Let's just shove it over here. It can be a mess. Now, at first it can look totally fine. It's still there, but maybe you've just kind of packed the mess in there to a point where it's somewhat tolerable. Well, the day you go to empty out that garage and clean it up, and you pull all that trash out and put it out on your lawn, it's going to look like a disaster. But the question is the garage actually getting cleaner, or is it getting worse? The truth is that you're cleaning it up. And I believe that that's what we're doing right now. We're cleaning up the world. And it might get worse before it gets better, but I genuinely believe it's getting better. So a couple more questions here. Ooh, what is your best advice for artists these days? So much. So it's a whole show in itself. TMR will have to answer that one as well when he comes on here. But I would say first and foremost, the most basic part before it has to do with anybody else but yourself, become great at your craft. That goes for anything, I think, really. If you are a singer, become great at your craft. If you are a rap artist like TMR, let me tell you something. By the way, TMR is the Marine rapper. We call him TMR for short, or Timmer. Timmer is one of the most prolific rap artists I've ever seen in my life. And he writes and creates and drills his craft all the time. He's going to be able to talk about that when he comes on. It is impressive. So I think first and foremost, put in the time when nobody's watching to be great at what you do. Rehearse, drill, train. And then when you feel confident and you can stand solidly on your own abilities, then you go out into the world. And not to go on and on, because I definitely want to answer this in a quick manner, but first and foremost, I know this might sound cheesy, do not ever, ever, ever give up on your dreams. Just don't do it. There will be so many forces and people that may make you think that you have to give up because there's no other way, or you failed, or you missed your one opportunity. That's not true. Life is made of the opportunities that you create for yourself. If a door closes, go find another one. If someone says no, that's not the right person, go meet another one. And be relentless in your purpose. Stand in your truth. Do not ever, ever, ever ignore your own integrity. Trust me, other stories for other days. It never winds up well when you divert from your own personal integrity. When someone wants you to sing something you didn't really want to sing, say something you didn't really want to say, be some way that you didn't really want to be, it's never going to wind up well. Just take it from me. Trust me on that one. So keep your integrity in, become great at your craft, and also create opportunities for yourself. Find people, go after them, connect with them. It takes a lot of work, but I believe in you. So I'm not gonna be able to answer all of these right now, but I'm gonna just say one really important one. How can people support the independent artists these days? That's important, especially because of the guests that we have coming on here. Very, very, very important. Buy their music. If we're talking about musicians, I'm a musician, he's a musician. Let's talk about music for a second. Now, a lot of people don't know what I mean. There's a lot of streaming services these days where people pay a monthly subscription to just stream the music. A lot of you out there have probably not actually purchased and downloaded a song in years. And you may not know this, but that's actually harming artists greatly, because I have some numbers here. Oh my goodness. For example, oh my goodness. On Spotify, if we're just talking about financially, on Spotify, an artist makes about $0.00331. So that's not even a fraction of a penny per stream, which means that it would take 100,000 streams for an artist to make about $330. And the truth is that to get that quantity of streams normally takes an enormous amount of money to get on the proper actual playlists, they're called, within some of these, Apple Music, Spotify. It takes a lot of money to do the promotion to get yourself on those playlists. So for an independent artist that is not backed by the money of a record label, they're doing it on their own. It takes an enormous amount of streams to actually be financially rewarded. So what you can do, though, which is very important, almost any independent artist that you find these days will have links like in their Instagram pages, on their websites or whatever, where you can actually be diverted to buy the music. For example, one site that a lot of us use is called Bandcamp. And you can buy the music and download it. And even if it's $2 with these numbers, you have to understand that instead of streaming that many, many hundreds of times for an artist to make that $2, they just make it immediately from you. So I think that that's like pretty much one of the most important things that I could say, because also our next artist, which I am definitely going to bring on now. For example, I'm going to tell you something. He is a 26-time Billboard charting artist. A lot of people don't know what that means. The Billboard charts are the kind of holy grail of the music industry. They take all the numbers from where people streamed music on Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music. They take the numbers from people watching the videos on YouTube. They take the numbers from anyone that's actually still purchased and downloaded a song. And for an artist to make it onto that Billboard chart is a huge deal. So you guys have to understand that for an independent, freedom-fighting artist that's going to be canceled, that's going to be derailed, that's going to have their stuff taken off of the internet, to actually get 26 placements on the Billboard charts is literally, I've never heard of it in my entire life. We are in an epic time in our lives. And just so you know, that occurred because of you guys, because of the actual audience going out and purchasing the artist's music. Because if you purchase that music, for example, on Billboard, you have to get 1,250 streams is equivalent to buying the album one time. So if you guys go out and buy an artist's album one time, that is equal to some other artist getting 1,250 streams. So start to do the math on that. It's very important that you guys support the artists in that way. And without further ado, I am going to read this incredible artist's credentials, someone that I consider to be my friend and someone that supported me greatly back in January by allowing me to have 3 songs on his album. What a way to come out of the gate. His name is Raymond Lott, but we never call you that, Raymond. We call you the Marine Rapper or TMR or Timmer for all the cool people. So his music is heavily influenced by metal, hip hop, country, and his service as a U.S. Marine from 2004 to 2014. First of all, let's get a round of applause for that. Thank you for your service, sir. He completed 2 combat tours and 1 deployment to Africa, earning a Combat Action Ribbon in Iraq. So first of all, that's incredible. Thank you so much for what you've done for our country. In February 2021, the Marine Rapper achieved his first Billboard #1 hit single. #1 on Billboard is even more impressive than just getting on it. It's almost unheard of. So #1 hit single featuring on the hip hop artist Topher's track, The Patriot. So we also had Topher on as well earlier. And now we've got the Marine Rapper. We're just bringing in the whole crew. In October of 2021, the Marine Rapper achieved his second Billboard #6 hit single featured on the hip hop artist Topher's track, Let's Go Brandon. You guys remember that one. And in November 2021, the Marine Rapper achieved his third Billboard #7 hit single featured on hip hop artist MJ Hank's track, I Left My Home, which is actually how I met the Marine Rapper, because he was doing an I Left My Home challenge on Instagram and I jumped on it. And the rest was history. Please let us bring on the legendary Marine Rapper.
Hey, what's going on?
Did you like your intro?
Thank you. It was epic. I was like, okay, cool. Like,
are you blushing?
I am blushing. You just can't see it because of my chocolatey pigment, but I am blushing.
Yeah, it's like a dark blush.
A dark blush. Yeah, like an amethyst.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what?
Thank you so much. I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me here on the show. Also, thank you so much for that wonderful, beautiful intro, and also thank you and your co-hosts for what you guys do on a consistent basis on this show. So I just wanted to say how appreciative I am for your work that you do.
Oh, goodness sakes almighty. You're going to make me all teary-eyed now. Come on now. Well, hey, it's like a reunion here because we worked a lot together, December and January. And then I have to say, I literally cannot keep up with how many projects you do. People out there, listen, when I say this is one of the most prolific artists you will ever see in your life, I cannot comprehend how much content you create. So in the last couple months, you want to give us some highlights of some, my goodness, you've been busy.
I don't even remember.
I know.
I honestly, yeah, I dropped a couple more albums and
a couple more albums.
Yeah, actually 2 more albums, and both of those hit #2 on the Christian chart. So I dropped 2 Christian albums in the last 2 months. So,
that's awesome. Wait,
2.5 months.
2.5 months, 2 albums. That is just absolutely an incredible amount of writing and production. And didn't you just come? I was watching you. I follow you on Instagram, guys. And if you guys want to follow TMR on Instagram, his handle is TMR Heroes. TMR Heroes. Fantastic Instagram page. And I think last weekend you just got back from an amazing show. Was it called We the Free?
Yeah, We the Free show out there in near Chicago, Illinois. It was actually Aurora, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
So not too far from Chicago, just a little bit outside the city. I performed there with some great freedom fighters out there. It was me, Topher, DCure, Jimmy, and Zoe Levy. And it was just a great time. We were able to, just entertain people and just enjoy our freedoms. We had so many different types of people there from all walks of life and in the spectrum. So it was great. It was really fun. And that's why you see me talking a little bit lower, like Barry White, and sipping on tea.
That voice got a little tired.
Yeah, voice got a little tired. And I start to feel it, kind of fade. So I was like, let me just preserve this voice here.
Oh yeah, you should hear me with the cold.
I'm sipping tea and I got my, my little honey and cough drops and everything. Just gotta preserve that. But it was back-to-back shows because we did one show the week prior in New Jersey.
That's right, for Blexit, right?
Blexit, and then the next one was Chicago. That's why I was like, we're in between shows. We're scheduling this, and so I appreciate you for fitting me in the
oh my goodness
and stuff. So
I've wanted you on since day one. Remember, I was like, okay, I'm going to reach out to. Actually, I wanted to tell them also because the last 2 shows that you did. First of all, we said the word Blexit. I've talked about Blexit. I don't even know how many times now on the radio. 10 times. Yeah. It is an organization that was begun by Candace Owens and Officer Brandon Tatum, an incredible organization that actually brings education and awareness to, I guess you would say, urban communities. It's a beautiful organization that, brings opportunities and also really, really confronts and brings communication to the subject matter of racism, which I think is very necessary. And then obviously the We the Free show. And you did both of those with your group called Space Force, right?
Correct.
So guys, TMR and you've seen Topher before on the show, and then their other counterpart, D-Cure.
Yeah.
They're all independently doing their own music, which is absolutely incredible.
That's us right there.
There they are on the screen right now. And then they also have come together as a super group and you guys do all kinds of shows together. So what was it like to kind of reunite in Chicago and get to see the boys again?
It's always a good time. It's always a good time. I can't wait till all the footage comes out. I posted a little clip. I think you might have saw that clip that I posted recently.
Oh yeah.
Fan video and stuff like that. But we got a whole professional video coming out from that. But it was such a great time, such good energy. It just feels good when you're welcome. And there's been a lot of situations and a lot of venues where we weren't welcome because of our subject matter of what we talk about. But this time we were very welcome with open arms, and everybody was welcome. The only prerequisite to be in that place was, do you love freedom? If you love freedom, we don't care what you look like, how you were raised, boy, girl, whatever. As long as you love your personal freedoms and you want to have a good time and want to listen to some good music and dance and be free, everybody was allowed in there. Oh, you had to be 21, but that was it. So
there you go. Sounds like a.
I think you barely made it, right, Jira? You barely made it. Barely.
Next year I can go.
Next year you can go. I knew it.
Well, I mean, it's very important. Obviously, your artistic name is The Marine Rapper. So I know it's very important to you. We've had many conversations about your time in the Marines. Is there anything you would like to share with people? Because obviously, just on a personal note, I love my country. I have not fought war for my country. I greatly respect our veterans for doing what you're doing for us. And then to parlay that into a music career is very unique. And anything you'd like to tell us about that? I'd love people to hear a little bit more of that story.
Yeah, absolutely. But first of all, I just want to say there's a lot of people who serve or people who don't serve. And I just feel like it doesn't matter if you didn't serve and somebody else did. I just feel like everybody can contribute in their own way, because I don't think everybody's supposed to be military and not everybody's supposed to be a civilian, but we all can help in our own way. So if you're out there and you're listening and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't join the military, how else can I help? There's plenty of ways that you can help. Giera and her co-hosts talk about it all the time, especially when it comes to human rights and fighting for freedom and things like that. So you can always find different ways to help. Like now, Giera is serving right now by this show here. So I just want to say I appreciate you, and I just wanted to bring that up because there's a lot of people who always say that, like, oh, I wasn't in the military. I'm just like, you don't need to be. Everybody helps in their own way. That was just my path, and I feel like Giera, now you're serving now in your way. So it's great what you're doing. But,
I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. But to your point about the military, you wanted to know what part did you want me to
I know it's kind of a broad question.
Yeah, it's a broad question.
I think just obviously you were serving the country with the Marines, and now you are serving your country as an artist.
Yes.
And I was kind of wondering, like, how much were those experiences kind of influential to your music now? I feel like from a lot of what I've heard, very influential.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the group of great Marines that was around me and that I was fortunate enough to serve with, I would not be living today, because my job was combat correspondent, which was a reporter. But what was the unique thing about my experience in the military, my 10 years in the military, was I was embedded with infantry troops. So infantry troops are ground troops, are riflemen. A lot of times they're the first in an environment. So there might be a conflict or a firefight or some type of aggressive situation that needs to be handled, or a person that needs to be neutralized or something like that. And we have to go there. And I was a part of those groups. And because there was very well trained individuals that were a part of that group, we came home. And because we came home, I owe everything to them. Because, I did my part too, because you can't do it, just one person. It's a whole group effort. We're all Marines and we did what we had to do. But because they did what they had to do and they had their brothers back, their left and their right and their six, and they had everything, we were able to come back. And it was just such a beautiful thing, because a lot of times here we kind of like lose sight of that we're all brothers and sisters. And over there, when you're in war, you remember it quick. You remember it really quick, because that's all you have. All the material things, the phones, the microphones, the money, the jewels, the chains, any of your fancy belongings, hot meals, hot showers, things like that. All those things that we take for granted, you don't take for granted when you're overseas. And so having that experience overseas with that group of phenomenal, well-trained Marines, it influenced me greatly when it comes to my career. Now I had to live my life in music with those stories. I had to become a storyteller of all the great exploits of these heroes. And that's why, my handles has heroes in it, because I'm living for God first and foremost, my family and friends, but also for those individuals who kept me alive. And because they kept me alive, I feel indebted so much that I need to keep them alive, because there are some people who actually did not make it back that I did serve with. And because I feel indebted to them, I will forever keep their memory alive through music as long as I'm alive. And set an example. And hopefully there's other individuals out there. We already have other individuals out there, like, Space Force, who are also military.
Yeah, all of you guys.
Who talk about these issues that military go through. But also, we also immortalize a lot of individuals that are fighting for freedom here and abroad. So the military greatly influences my music. I couldn't see myself talking about anything else, even if I'm not directly saying military or Marine. I'm basically talking about somebody who helped me through a hard situation, a hero.
Sure. And then, I'm assuming, and I think that, we've talked about this as well, that obviously there are things that people go through in the services that no one else could ever possibly imagine. And then coming home from that, there are repercussions. There are challenging times. There are probably, troubles that people have had to witness. And I can only imagine that turning to music as an outlet and possibly as a form of therapy. Could you tell people about that? Because a lot of people are looking for ways to handle, mental trauma, emotional trauma. And unfortunately, I'm just going to bring this up because if my partner were here, she works very heavily in the field of mental health care reform. And finally, it's starting to break all over the news that very clearly the overreach of the psychiatric and pharmaceutical companies with the psychotropic drugs is very, very dangerous with dangerous side effects. It's finally hitting the airwaves. But obviously, a lot of military, this runs quite rampant in the military, because what are people supposed to do when they get home and they get diagnosed and they get sometimes put on these, very hardcore drugs? And I know that you found other ways of dealing with that. And I know that you also are an advocate for helping others with, potential suicide or different emotional effects that have been left from their time served. So I would love for you to talk about that, because it's such a worthy cause.
Yes, absolutely. It's helping veterans deal with their mental issues, mental illness, and preventing suicide is my life mission. I literally go live every day, except for today, because I had somebody filling in for me. Shout out to my boy Benny, who's filling in for me.
Benny, we love Benny.
Benny is filling in for me today because I said, hey, I got to do something special for Giera and her co-host. So he's substituting for me today. But usually we go live every single day on Instagram, on social media, and we talk to veterans, civilians, complete strangers sometimes, or anybody who needs to talk specifically, because that's all you need when you're having mental issues. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. You just need a sounding board. Sometimes you don't even need them to respond. You just want to get something off your chest. You might want to say, hey, listen, I've had a bad day. It's just good that you're here. I have people who don't actually join the live or show their face, but they show up as a spectator and they leave a comment and say, hey, I just like watching. And because I'm watching you two talk and banter back and forth, now I have a better day. Benny, he's a Marine Corps veteran too. And so we do the show called Alive Every Day to combat suicide ideations, to prevent suicide, and also just add a sense of camaraderie in the community. And we're able to reach a lot of different people over the internet because everybody's spread out everywhere. So that's how we help currently. My personal struggle has been alleviated by a couple things. The first thing that I tried to do was, first of all, break down. I was crying in the bathroom floor and I was trying to figure out what I should do after I got out of the Marine Corps in 2014. Then I got myself up and I looked myself in the mirror and I said, hey, you're the only person who's going to help you. And when I went to, shortly after that, I moved to Los Angeles. When I moved to Los Angeles, I was still having mental issues and things like that. And they were saying, hey, you should meditate. You should try this, try that. And for some reason, none of that was working for me. But the only thing that I knew that was working for me was music. I was always calm when I listened to music. And then I was like, okay, maybe there's something wrong with my mind. Maybe I need to go to a doctor. So I went to a doctor and they tried to put me on psychotropic meds, but they didn't call me back fast enough. And luckily I had a good environment around me. Luckily I had some good friends. And because I was able to get myself together and realize that I just needed an outlet. I needed a purpose and I needed a community and I needed some camaraderie. And just to let you guys know, if you need something like that, definitely tune into my Instagram page. You can find me anywhere on there. But if you type in @TMR Heroes, you'll be able to tap into my network and talk to me and Benny or somebody else. Sometimes there's a female that wants to find another female to speak to. A lot of times when we're on there, we'll say, oh, snap, I actually know somebody you could talk to. Actually, Giera went through the same thing. Maybe I can hook you up with her. So it's not just a male thing. It's also, I have a lot of connections where I could hook you up with somebody else. Like if you want to talk to a female, you can do that as well. So great people like Giera, who's a great person to talk to. She always has some great things to say.
Thank you so
much. I have you're welcome. And, and other people, are there for you. But I'm just a big champion for suicide prevention and camaraderie with the community, whether you're civilian or military, because we got to stop this whole abuse of drugs for their mental illness, as well as we got to stop this kind of ignoring people. Social media has made us into these machines that lack empathy, that lack care, and social media has separated us and made a lot of us forget how to communicate on a daily basis. Imagine we're like this all day, like our neck bent over like a dinosaur.
Yeah, we got neck issues and we got soul issues.
Neck and our back, my neck and our back, and
my neck and our back and our soul.
Yeah, and our soul, all of that. So instead of having all those issues, just speak up. And sometimes it's okay. Sometimes you feel a certain way. Sometimes I'll vent to people or whatever. And I'll be like, listen, I don't need a solution. I just need to get something off my chest. And I just want to let you know how I felt about it or whatever,
Absolutely.
We've had our, conversations here or there, but like that's the whole thing. It's just like, sometimes you just need to let it out and just go to an inner circle, find your tribe, find somebody who you can talk to. My tribe is people like Giera, like who are in the music realm, or military, or who are into fighting freedom or suicide prevention advocacy or military advocacy. Or I have a lot of friends who, females who have been through, military sexual trauma or sexual trauma. And we've related through that specifically because we're fighting for some type of purpose too. So I have a lot of different friends. If you're listening right now, if you have a lot of different friends in a lot of different areas, so if you need help, definitely shoot me a message. Reach out to me at TMR Heroes, and we can get you hooked up with somebody, because you don't need to kind of like divert to the medication or the prescriptions. Sometimes you just need somebody to listen, or you need to communicate with somebody, and I'm here for you.
That's incredible.
Somebody else will be.
I say we give it up for a minute here for the Marine rapper, because that's just beautiful. Don't you love our sound effects?
Thank you. I love the sound effects. I love it.
Yeah, that reminds me, I would love to play another piece of one of the songs that we made, because just what you were just talking about. And first and foremost, I mean, I've talked about you and about the experience with you so many times on interviews, on the radio, because without trying to get emotional, it really changed my life, finding you and getting to know you, because you offered, I was coming out of the standardized entertainment industry. I had no idea how to be an independent artist. People think that, oh, it's so easy. No, I didn't know where to put my music. I didn't know how to get music out independently. You helped me so much. And we had so many phone conversations outside of just the music collaboration about where I was mentally and spiritually and emotionally with regards to making this huge decision, with regards to how much work it actually took. And you guided me and were such an incredible mentor. And one of the first songs that we made a beautiful music video together called Mighty Storm. I'd love to just play a little piece of it, because I remember also in some of those conversations, you had been doing, first of all, guys, you guys really need to look up the Marine Rapper's music, because he's one of the most versatile rap artists I've ever heard in my life. And I listen to a lot. He's constantly changing up his vibe, his emotion, his tone, his cadences, his rhythms. It's unbelievable. You really are a genius. But I remember as much as you even helped me during that time of finding my way, that you said that you'd been doing kind of a lot of aggressive music at that time. And Mighty Storm was so special because it was so different. It was like a totally different vibe. And I would love for you to just say a little bit about that, and then just play a little clip of it, because, when you're talking about all the division and all, my goodness, just the divisiveness of the politics and race and this, and we're constantly being bombarded now and torn apart. And you really put that and embodied that in this beautiful song.
And that was, I love that you segue to Mighty Storm, because that's like a bridge from what I was actually talking about when it comes to the mental illness and stuff, because a lot of people feel a certain type of way because of the divisiveness, because of the politics, because of the different relationships. So that's what we wanted to encapsulate in the song called Mighty Storm. It's my song, TMR featuring Giera. It's our song. And it encapsulate inside of a message in a bottle. Basically, that's our theme. Like, we're like, yo, let's really put a message in a bottle and throw it out into the ocean. And
which is on the music video as well.
Yeah, hope somebody finds it.
Well, let's play a little piece of it, just because I love incorporating music.
The war is not yet over, so we go marching on. And though we feel divided, we know we're not alone. For troops of rain united, become a mighty storm.
I'm so done with the politics, the love, the hate, the real, the fake debates I'm caught up in. The left, the right, the up, the down, I don't know which is which. I tried to show them to the water, but I lost some friends. I didn't want to think no handles like I'm Adam's kid. Tried to break me with them, but they had me wondering, do they deserve the respect and all the love I give? Opened up my heart and my mind, in return I gave. It was a hardship, had no cover, no umbrella, only rain on cerebellum. In the ocean with my fellas, but it's broken, no propeller. Find a way to get up, tell I'll rock the crowd when it was hell out. Heaven knows I'm doing swell, I'll ride this wave until I wipe out. I could never ever bail out, but can anybody tell me why is when you catch it when they always see it sell out? Well, I try my best, yes, I tried to make us better, and I hope you find this bottle in the ocean with this message.
For those who came before us, and those when we are gone, the war is not yet over, so we go marching on. And though we feel divided, we know we're not alone. For
Oh, it's such a great song, TMR.
I love it. And it's crazy. I was gonna say, but I was just vibing out to it. But I was gonna say before we played that song was, yeah, you influenced me big time because I think we were talking about how there was no resolution to the whole like anger portion of it. And because when I came into it, I was just like angry, and and then you're just like, but is there gonna be like a resolution?
Oh, yeah.
You're like,
right.
so I kind of like softened it up,
The first verse versus the second verse. When you actually played me the first verse, and I was like, that's amazing, but like, where are we going? Can we get some hope?
Yeah, some hope in here. Yeah, because it was hopeless.
I was like, I feel like they're just gonna go out and disappear all into the ocean. I don't know about this.
Just walk into the ocean, and then because you said that, we were able to actually make a more well-rounded song and kind of like bridge both of our worlds and kind of give people hope when they're done listening to the song. So I appreciate you for that too. I feel like that's why I love collaborations, because it's not one-sided. We influence each other.
Oh, goodness sakes.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's so beautiful when you get one of those great collaborations, because you both grow and just help each other so much. And, of course, can't wait to do more music with you, TMR. I mean, it was a beautiful experience for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. I can't wait to do that.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I can't wait to get some more tunes in.
Get the band back together.
Yep.
We were on a break. No. By the way, just so you all know, we're like being very professional right now on this. This guy, if you get him on a roll, I mean, he needs his own comedy hour.
Wow.
I feel
thank
like, no, I'm serious.
Yeah, well,
but definitely before
time.
you go, next time, but before we go, I definitely want you to shout out one more time the most important places where people can find you. First of all, of course, your Instagram is TMR Heroes, but also I know you have a link on there which will direct people to where your music is, but I just went on a diatribe about people purchasing the music. So where can people buy your music, TMR?
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for that. Everybody can buy my music on iTunes or Amazon Music. My name's The Marine Rapper, so you just go under there and whatever fits your fancy. I would say start at some of the songs where me and Giera collaborate. Try Mighty Storm first.
Just plug it. Yeah,
it's only 99. Yeah, for sure. It's only 99 cents. Might as well go get that Mighty Storm. They heard it, first you give them that little sample like at Costco, and then you kind of like reel them in,
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna.
But that's it. And then everybody can find me at TMR Heroes on Instagram, and my website is themarinerapper.com. And thank you so much.
themarinerapper.com. TMR, so honored to have you on the show. I mean, my goodness, just the last 6 months in my life and where it's led to, and just knowing that you were right there at the beginning, at that pivotal point when I made the decision to do this kind of music and to be this kind of artist. I will never have enough words to thank you. And I definitely want to take us out. We're going to play one more song of ours called, thank you. Thanks, TMR. Thank you so much. We're going to take it out with a really awesome, hard-hitting song called Freedom, which is another song. And we don't have time to talk about it this time, but I'll have to have you back another time, because what a great story in the making of this song. But this kind of sums it all up. It's an anthem called Freedom. Thank you so much, TMR.
Thank you. Have a good
Thou shalt not threaten nor tread down our freedom. We will defend till the end our freedom.